All right, everybody, Quilt Con is tomorrow, and I have not done any of the accessories yet. I have not made the necklace, bracelet, or earrings that I was planning on making. I have completed pretty much all of the sewing projects. The only sewing project I did not complete, I guess I technically did complete it. It was the maxi skirt. I did make a maxi skirt. It just didn't turn out the way I was hoping, so I'm not planning on wearing it. And I guess technically it's not like complete. I haven't hemmed it yet, but I do have other plans for that outfit. I may wear a maxi skirt I already own or just a completely different outfit. I have a couple options. But yeah, I'm about to pull out the beads, bead like the wind, and yeah. And I still have to pack too. And it is like 4:30 or 5 p.m. right now. So wish me luck. I have my beads in front of me and then all the other beading supplies over here. I'm going to start with the necklace. So for that, I'm going to use this bead stringing wire, which it's a type of wire, but it's very flexible and it doesn't hold its shape, but it's a little bit more structured for a heavier necklace. And since we're using bigger beads, I think this makes the most sense. So I have my reference photo and I'm going to arrange my beads in a pattern that I think would work for the look I'm going for. It might take a little rearranging and experimenting, but that's part of the fun. So I've just tested the length of my necklace. I just held it up around my neck and looked in the mirror to make sure it was long enough. It's not as long as I want it to be, so I'm gonna add a couple more sets of the pattern I've been doing on either side. And then all that's left to do is to add the end hooks and use some bead crimps to hold it all in place. To secure the end of the necklace, I'm going to use 2 crimp beads, 1 for each side, along with 2 jump rings and a claw clasp pair. So to do this, I'm going to put the clamp bead on. I'm going to use 2 pliers to open this jump ring and connect it to the claw clasp. Now that the jump ring is attached to the claw clasp, I'm going to string the jump ring on to the necklace. I'm now going to loop the end of the wire around the jump ring and thread it back through the clamp bead, making sure I have a little tail still left. Now I'm going to clamp the clamp bead using these special pliers. So you'll notice there's a round section and then a section that has a little divot on one side. We're going to start by clamping it with just the regular round clamp, and then we're going to clamp it with the portion that has the divot. Using the first clamp, we clamped around the clamp bead, and now we're going to use the second portion, and it kind of squishes the clamp bead. And then we're going to turn the clamp bead to the side and clamp using the first clamp section again to basically fold the little clamp piece in half. And then you'll have this tiny little silver seed looking thing at the end. Make sure it's all tightened down. And then we're going to push the beads back over towards the clasp, making sure that the little tail also sticks into the first couple beads on the string. You see how those first couple beads are hiding that little tail? And one side is done. We're going to repeat on the other side using the second clamp bead, another jump ring, and the other half of the claw clasp. This side is going to be a little bit more tricky. You're going to have to kind of adjust. After you loop the wire around and string it back in through the clamp bead, you might have to kind of finagle it a little bit to get it as tight as possible. And then you can, once everything's clamped down, you can trim a little bit of the excess tail and then feed the tail back through the first couple beads. I finished the other side and now the necklace is done. For the earrings, I took some hoops I already owned, some light yellow flower beads, smaller purple flower beads, and 2 jewelry making pins. Make sure the pins have a little end or loop on one side. Then I strung on 1 purple flower and 1 yellow flower to each pin. Using some round pliers, I bent the pin into a loop. I suggest starting the loop farther away from the bead than you think. And then I wrap the remaining tail of the pin around the base of the loop a few times. I trim the excess pin tail and the flower charms are ready to hang on the hoops. I didn't get to the button charm bracelet, but stay tuned for that future project. Happy crafting!